Hello there, my dear garden dreamers. If you're anything like me, you've probably stood on your deck with a cup of morning coffee, gazing at that space and thinking, this could use some magic. Well, what if I told you that the vintage treasures hiding in your attic, garage, or local thrift store could transform your deck into a botanical paradise? Today we're diving deep into 10 absolutely mind-blowing vintage garden deck decor hacks that won't break the bank. And trust me, when you see what we do with an old colander in tip number 7, you'll never look at kitchen cast-offs the same way again. Welcome to Golden Seniors Living, where we turn yesterday's treasures into today's garden gold. If you love discovering creative ways to breathe new life into forgotten finds while creating spaces that nurture your soul, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We've got a treasure trove of inspiration waiting for you just around the corner. Let's get started. 1. Vintage Suitcase Herb Garden Station. Remember that old leather suitcase gathering dust in your closet? Here's where the magic begins. Open it up, line the bottom with heavy-duty plastic, poke drainage holes, and fill it with potting soil. Now plant your favorite herbs, basil, rosemary, thyme, right inside. Position it on a vintage plant stand or stack of old books on your deck table. The beauty isn't just in the unexpected container, it's in the mobility. Rainy day? Simply close your suitcase herb garden and move it under cover. The weathered leather develops character with each season, and every time you snip fresh herbs for dinner, you're reminded that the best gardens tell stories. This isn't just container gardening, it's traveling through time with every harvest. And wait until you see how we transform an old washboard into pure deck enchantment. 2. Antique Washboard Vertical Planter Wall. Got an old washboard from a flea market find? Those metal ridges aren't just for washing clothes anymore. Mount your washboard vertically against your deck railing or wall, then slip small terracotta pots right into those ridges. The pots nestle perfectly, creating an instant vertical garden that would make any farmhouse proud. Fill each pot with trailing plants like ivy, string of pearls, or colorful petunias. As they grow and cascade down the washboard surface, you've created a living piece of art that captures both nostalgia and natural beauty. The metal develops a gorgeous patina over time, and the gentle sound of wind through the leaves creates the most peaceful deck symphony. It's functional art that speaks to our roots, literally and figuratively. But speaking of functional beauty, you won't believe what magic happens when we repurpose a vintage wooden ladder tiered deck garden display. That old wooden step ladder in your garage? It's about to become the crown jewel of your deck. Set it up in a corner, and each step becomes a perfect shelf for potted plants of varying heights. Place your tallest plants on the ground level, medium plants on the middle rungs, and let trailing plants cascade from the top. The rustic wood adds instant character, and the tiered effect creates visual depth that makes even a small deck feel like a botanical sanctuary. During golden hour, the way sunlight filters through the leaves at different levels creates the most enchanting shadows and light play across your deck. This isn't just plant display, it's architecture with attitude. And if you think that's clever, wait until you discover the secret life of vintage milk crates. 4 Milk Crate Modular Deck Storage Garden. Those sturdy vintage milk crates aren't just for records anymore. Stack them, arrange them side by side, or create custom configurations that fit your deck's unique layout. Line each crate with coconut fiber liner, fill with soil, and plant with your favorite flowers, herbs, or even small vegetables. The beauty of this system is its flexibility. Rearrange your garden layout whenever inspiration strikes. Create height variations, seasonal displays, or even a living privacy screen. The weathered plastic or wood develops character, and the industrial aesthetic perfectly complements both modern and vintage deck styles. Plus, the built-in handles make moving your garden sections effortless, perfect for us who prefer working smarter, not harder. But here's where things get really interesting. Have you ever considered the garden potential of an old toolbox? 5 Vintage Toolbox Succulent Paradise. Dig through that old toolbox, the metal one with all the character marks and rust patina. Those compartments that once held screws and nails are about to become tiny succulent sanctuaries. Line each section with small stones for drainage, add cactus soil, and plant different varieties of succulents in each compartment. The result? A portable succulent garden that tells stories with every weathered surface. The different compartment sizes accommodate various succulent shapes and sizes, creating a living mosaic of textures and colors. Set it on your deck table as a stunning centerpiece, or mount it on your deck railing for vertical interest. Succulents thrive in these contained spaces, and the metal develops even more beautiful patina as it weathers naturally. It's like having a miniature desert landscape right on your deck. And speaking of unexpected containers, you'll love what we do with vintage colanders. 6 Hanging Colander Strawberry Towers. Here's where kitchen cast-offs become garden gold. Those vintage metal colanders with all their drainage holes? They're strawberry hanging gardens waiting to happen. Line the bottom with coconut fiber to prevent soil spillage. Fill with potting mix and plant strawberry plants through the holes, sides and top. Hang them at varying heights from your deck ceiling or pergola, using sturdy chains or rope. The cascading strawberry plants create living curtains of green, and come harvest time, you'll have sweet berries dangling at perfect picking height. The metal colanders develop gorgeous rust patina that adds authentic vintage charm. The genius is in the drainage. Strawberries love well-draining soil, and the colander provides perfect conditions. Plus, harvesting becomes a delightful treasure hunt among the leaves. But wait until you see how we transform old picture frames into something extraordinary. Vintage frame living art installations. Those ornate vintage picture frames gathering dust. They're about to frame living masterpieces. Remove the glass and backing, then stretch chicken wire or hardware cloth across the back. Fill a shallow box with soil, press it against the wire backing, and plant with sedums, moss, or small succulents that will grow through the wire. Mount these living frames on your deck walls at varying heights to create an outdoor art gallery that changes with the seasons. The ornate frames, whether gilded, carved wood, or distressed metal, become stunning contrast to the organic plants growing within. Over time, the plants fill the frame completely, creating living paintings that would make any museum jealous. The vintage frames add instant elegance, while the plants provide ever-changing natural beauty. And here's something that'll really surprise you: the magic we can create with old bed springs. Loving these vintage transformations so far. We're just getting warmed up. The next 3 ideas are absolute game changers, including one that turns rusty bed springs into the most enchanting garden feature you've ever seen. 8 Talk Bed Spring Trellis Gardens. Those old metal bed springs from vintage mattresses? They're climbing plant paradise waiting to happen. Stand them upright against your deck railing or wall. Secure them well, and let climbing plants like morning glories, sweet peas, or jasmine weave through the coils. The spiral metal provides perfect support for tendrils to grab onto, and as plants mature, they create living sculptures of incredible beauty. The rust patina on old springs adds authentic character that can't be bought new, and the way flowering vines spiral through creates natural artwork that changes daily. By midsummer, you'll have fragrant walls of blooms that provide privacy, beauty, and the gentle sound of leaves rustling in the breeze. It's functional sculpture that gets more beautiful with age. But speaking of functional beauty, you haven't seen anything until we show you the watering can revolution. Galvanized watering can fountain feature. That old galvanized watering can with the rusty patina. It's about to become the soothing soundtrack of your deck. Install a small solar fountain pump inside, run the tubing up through the spout, and surround the base with smooth river rocks in a large, shallow basin. Position it as your deck centerpiece, surrounded by moisture-loving plants like ferns and hostas in vintage containers. The gentle trickle of water creates instant tranquility, while the weathered metal adds authentic farmhouse charm. Solar power means no electrical work, just sunshine and serenity. The sound of trickling water masks neighborhood noise and attracts beneficial birds and butterflies to your deck oasis. It's meditation in metal form, and every time you hear that gentle gurgle, stress just melts away. And for our final transformation, we're going big with something absolutely spectacular: vintage wheelbarrow mobile deck garden. Here's our grand finale, that rusty old wheelbarrow that's seen better days. It's about to become the star of your deck garden show. Fill it with quality potting soil, and create a seasonal display that you can wheel around your deck as needed. Full sun, partial shade, or shelter from storms. Plant it with a combination of upright plants in the center, trailing varieties around the edges, and perhaps a small trellis in back for climbers. The weathered wood and metal tell stories of hard work and honest labor, while the plants represent new growth and possibilities. The mobility means you can redesign your deck layout whenever inspiration strikes. Move plants to follow optimal sun, or simply wheel your garden to the perfect spot for morning coffee contemplation. It's not just a planter, it's a rolling testament to the beauty of repurposing with purpose. From forgotten suitcases to weathered wheelbarrows, we've discovered that the most beautiful garden decor often comes with stories already written in rust, wear marks, and the patina of time. These aren't just budget-friendly ideas, they're invitations to slow down, create with our hands, and surround ourselves with beauty that speaks to our souls. Vintage garden decor reminds us that the best things in life get better with age, just like we do. Every herb snipped from that suitcase garden, every strawberry picked from those hanging colanders, every moment of peace beside that trickling fountain. These are the golden treasures that money can't buy. Because in our golden years, gardening isn't just about making things grow, it's about growing ourselves, one vintage treasure at a time. If even one of these vintage deck transformations sparked that wonderful feeling of "I could do that," please give us a thumbs up. It tells us we're on the right track. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which vintage treasure from today's list are you most excited to try? Do you have forgotten gems hiding in your own home just waiting for their garden debut? Don't forget to subscribe to Golden Seniors Living, where every day brings new ways to turn yesterday's treasures into tomorrow's joy. Until next time, keep growing, keep creating, and remember, the most beautiful gardens bloom from the wisdom of experience.